Yeah, okay. Well, welcome back to Little Shop of Horrors. It's obviously been a while since I did a video. This is mid-March after St. Patrick's Day, and I think the last video I did was in November. There's been a lot going on. Um, let's see, beginning of December, I think it was. There was some kind of flu bug that went tearing through this entire region, went through the whole state down into Oregon and everything else. It was pretty bad. It wasn't the Rona, it was something else, but it was bad. And me and the wife both got it, and I was sick 3 weeks before I started feeling bad. She got bad enough that she got bronchitis and had to go to urgent care, and they give her a bunch of stuff. And what I didn't know at the time was the old guy across the street. He also got some of that. And I say 3 weeks. Actually, we got sick like the first week of December, and Christmas I still felt like hell. And I actually middle of January before I can say that I finally got over it. His sinus and head cold, it was chest, it was just gnarly, whatever it was. And I just went through. I mean, I got sick. I went to work, got the sick, I don't know, Thursday or Friday. I went to work Monday, and by the end of the week, half the plant was gone because they all got it. That's how wicked this stuff was. So, middle of January, I finally, I I wasn't sick, but I had zero energy, none. I feel like doing nothing. Um, in that time, late, late January, well, middle January, I see the old guy across the street, old Chuck, my crusty old 86-year-old neighbor, had been packed out of that house in an ambulance. He was gone for a while. So I figure, whatever whatever it was, it got him too. And then he was gone for a week, and he came back and he was home, I don't know, another week. And then the next thing you know, on a Saturday, here they are packing him up into an ambulance again. And that was the last time I saw him. I talked to his daughter. No, I talked to his daughter. Then I talked to his ex-wife. That's kind of a weird situation. His ex-wife was there every day, so whatever. In the middle of last month, February, and I had known that they had packed him off and he wound up in hospice. Well, come to find out that he got whatever this flu thing was, and then he wound up with a UTI, bladder infection, and it got so bad that it actually turned into sepsis. And because he had had a heart valve replaced a few years earlier, apparently this sepsis mimics the same symptoms as your heart problem. So they didn't catch the sepsis for a month. And by the time they got to that, the poor guy was about done in. They put him in the hospital, and they were doing MRIs, and then they found out that he had lung cancer, and the lung cancer had spread to his brain. They put him in hospice, and he was gone like a week later. I found all this out at one time, and broke my heart because I really liked the old fart. He was crusty, I always said I wanted to be just like him when I grew up. So anyway, I guess he passed in the middle of February, and about a week after he was gone, I was talking to he wasn't even dead yet, and the wife and daughter sold his car out from him, right? So about a week or so after he was dead, I'm talking to the ex-wife, and she lets me know that he's gone, which surprised me. And in the same sentence, she asked me if I want to buy a truck. Well, yeah, he had a 93 Dodge four-wheel drive. He was the original owner, had 113,000 miles on it. It's got a winch and a bumper on the front, and it's got one of those swing out hoists in the back. And it's in pretty good shape. And I had asked him about it a couple of times. He wouldn't give me a price. And she told me that her and the daughter had looked it up on the internet, and Blue Book was like $6,000. I just laughed. I said, well, I know it's got some issues. I know it's got an axle seal leaking, and there's some other things. It's got some dents in it and stuff. I said, because I'm cheap, because I'm your neighbor, will you take $3,500 for it? And she said, sure. So I wound up buying his truck, which I'll show you here in a few minutes. To go along with the story, after he passed away, that daughter and wife want to basically erase any remembrance of him out in that garage or in the shed and in the backyard. They just want everything gone. They had a cousin show up with a trailer, and he hauled 2 trailer loads of tools and machinery and stuff out of there. And they said after that, they just want everything gone. They want to clean that garage out so that the mother can store her stuff in there and move into the house. That way she's not paying $1,500 to rent an apartment, and they can all live happily ever after and whatever. Okay. So I told them, because now it's just the 2 women, they got no truck now. I said, I'll give you a hand with this. So I've been over there, I don't know, a couple to 3 times hauling stuff out and going through it, and taking truckloads of stuff to the dump. He was old school, 86 years old, almost 87 when he passed. And, I think he was very, very young when the Depression hit, but he grew up with that mentality, because of his parents, I'm sure. I've got his old 1925 bandsaw stashed back in here, and a table saw that was also made in 1925 that has a cast base under it, and it says forged in Portland, Oregon. And his dad used that bandsaw to make lumber and the table saw to cut the lumber and build houses with during the Depression. That's how they got by. So none of his family wanted that. I've had those for a few years now. He gave that to me. But now I have boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff that I need to go through. This garage was a friggin' disaster before, and now I literally can't even hardly walk around in it. I got a little tiny pathway, and it's everywhere. And my old Chevy and that Dodge that I bought, both the front seats are full of stuff that I didn't want to throw away right away, and I didn't want it to get wet while I was going through all this other stuff. So I still need to go through all of that. And I'm working on top of all this, and I'm getting friggin' old and it's kicking my butt. So I just haven't had time to come out here and do anything. That's why, no videos. I'm sure nobody's missed me terribly anyway, but so that's the deal. Some of this stuff that I've got from him, I am separating out, and I'm going to give to friends and relatives because I don't want to see it get thrown away. I mean, the women over there don't care. Just get rid of it, and there's some tools and valuable things in there, and I don't want to just throw that stuff out. And if you'll excuse me for just a minute here, I will give you an example. I got this pinched in my vise so I don't have to sit and hold it and it ain't moving. So, yeah. That toolbox is antique. That's just one small example. This vise was the last thing I pulled out of that garage. It's Chinesium, but the thing's pretty heavy duty. I threw my back out getting this thing up off the ground and set up on that stand. And there's my old one that I've had for 35 years. It's basically the same vise, except his is way bigger. So I got that going up on there. And I got this Harbor Freight welder for Christmas that I haven't even plugged in yet. You know, this little radio, weather band radio that they were going to throw out. I mean, it's just, it never ends. So I got lots to do. The wife has crawled up my backside and wants me to clean this garage out. Well, yeah, that's all. It's easier said than done. I mean, some of this stuff I'm not getting rid of. I don't give a damn what she says. And that's just the name of that tune. So here, let me walk out here and show you my POS Sprite that also is going. You know, everybody wants that. That's going. But that there's the Dodge. 113,000 original miles on it. There is a fiberglass bed cover that painted to match that's still sitting over there that it's hydraulically operated. The guy mounted two little hydraulic rams in the bed, and there's a little electric hydraulic pump inside the hood, and you flip a switch and it raises and lowers that bed. I'm not going to put that on there because I had a canopy on the Chevy and that turned into a nightmare. You can't get things in and out of there, so I don't want nothing covering up the bed on that Dodge. It cost me almost $600 just to have the thing licensed here in this crooked state of Washington. There's another old toolbox, two vintage heaters I guess he had in his bedroom that he was using. You know, these things like this people just throw away, but there's, you know, they made things to work and they made things to last back in the day. I've had 2 or 3 of the little cheap Chinesium space heaters in the last 5 years because they only last a year. Them things are probably damn near as old as I am. So, yeah, when the Chinesium one dies, I'll put one of those into service. So anyway, sorry for the what can I say? The lack of posting. As you can see, I've been rather freaking busy. And it's probably going to be a while before I do anything, you know, machinery related at all. Most of it's going to be triage and getting rid of things. You know, I've had this old power hacksaw for 4 years or 5 years now, and it's in really good condition. I got a smoking deal on it off of Craigslist, and it's been sitting here taking up room ever since. I literally have not ever plugged that in. I know it works. The guy showed me when I bought it. It's an old Dunlap, which is basically a Sears. Dunlap was the buyer for Sears back in the 40s, and they named a line for him. So, I mean, it's things like that. I'm going to have to put that thing on Craigslist and get rid of it, which I hate to do, but I don't need it because I've got the Harbor Freight bandsaw that does everything that does and more. Anyway, this was just a video to let you know what's been going on. I'll let you know I'm not dead yet. Yeah, sorry for the camera jerking around. I eventually going to have to break down and buy a real video cam with a real mount and make room in here to stand the thing up. But you know, that'll come when it comes. I got bigger fish to fry at the moment. So there it is. You know, appreciate you swinging by. Like it, thumbs up, subscribe, tell your buddies, and I'll get back to you when I get back to you.